Welcome everyone into our Pig Trail Nation live report. I'm Nick Petraccione, and we're going to be breaking down today, as you can see in the little bottom title there, the Elite Eight matchup, Arkansas versus Baylor. That's happening tonight, 8:57 Central Time at Lucas Oil Stadium. And it's going to be a pretty good game. We're going to actually welcome in our Tera Talmadge now. We're going to help us break down this game. Tera, how just are you feeling that it's finally game day for Arkansas?
A quick turnaround for them. It's going to be interesting to see how they adjust and kind of go into this game. I think Eric Musselman said, we're just going to be ourselves and play like we normally play because it's just too quick to really come up with new schemes or anything for this matchup with Baylor. It's going to be a tough challenge for them for sure.
And we're seeing, you get off a super emotional win against Oral Roberts. You have to turn around so fast, barely have any time to game plan. I think Eric Musselman said that they're not going to usually do their normal prep. A lot of minutes they've played. They're not going to be able to do live defensive prep. It's a whole different beast in March, and how to win all these games in a row when you're going up against a team like Baylor who's 25-2. Big challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the other day in the press conference, someone asked, like you said, an emotional win over Oral Roberts the other night. How do you quickly adjust and turn the page to Baylor? And Musselman was just like, well, that's how tournaments work. So we're going to do it, get it done. So that's the mentality that they have going into this one. I'm sure that Eric Musselman, though, I mean, that guy, I don't think he sleeps. So I'm sure that they've done plenty of game planning for this.
Now, I know some of you are saying we got this little video glitchy right now. Hopefully it kind of kicks back up. If you have any questions, make sure to type them in right on our Facebook comment section, and Tera and I will do our best to answer them. We're going to get to a Musselman's quote here in just a second about what he sees about this Baylor team. But Tera, you and I are going to be at Bud Walton Arena tonight for this Elite Eight watch party. It's the only one happening in the nation. Houston's not doing one today. Oregon State's not doing one. Baylor's not doing one. This is the biggest watch party in the country. It's going to be happening at Arkansas. What are your thoughts about the university putting this on for fans?
I love it. I think the university and Hunter Yurachek has done a great job of getting people involved. Obviously, they put those big screens out on Dixon Street the other night, and that was a big success, even though it was kind of raining off and on during that night. But opening up Bud Walton Arena to fans kind of makes you feel like we are just getting that much closer to going back to normal a little bit. And it's going to be a great time, I think, for a lot of fans to get in there and be able to celebrate and watch that game together.
Now let's quickly check in on what Eric Musselman has to say about this Baylor Bears team, the #1 seed in the tourney, the second odds-on favorite to win this matchup.
You watch them yesterday and you look at the numbers and you see what great three-point percentages they have, and then you watch them beat people off the bounce and attack the rim off the dribble. I mean, that's why this team's 25-2 and one of the best teams in the country, and a team that can win a national championship and has great talent and is really well coached and has incredible guard play, and their bigs really understand their roles. We can't give up threes. It's an area that some games we've been great at when we played Alabama at Bud Walton, and then other games that we've stunk at defending the three, like we did against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. So somewhere we gotta guard the three, and you got to guard them off the bounce.
Tera, Eric Musselman there saying there are so many threats for Baylor. They can shoot the three, they can drive in, they have good guards. It seems like such a well-rounded team. How do you go about attacking Baylor?
Honestly, that's a job for Eric Musselman to figure out, because it's going to be a challenge. I mean, like we mentioned, they're really good at shooting the three. They're second highest percentage from behind the arc in the country right now. But at the same time, they haven't been extremely successful from behind the arc in this NCAA tournament. I think the other night they went 3 for 19 from the three-point line against Villanova. So I wouldn't expect them to have too many off games, though. Right. They're bound to get back on track. And also, their defense is really strong. They have the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, and teams can easily get rattled by that. And I think the main thing is for Arkansas to not let that happen. They have a tendency to sometimes just I think Mike Irwin over there, he was calling it one-on-one basketball, just taking it in and not thinking about resetting, passing it back out. Change directions if you need to. If you get into the paint and you've got 4 dudes around you, don't just jack it up. Reset. Figure something else out.
Patience. And that was one thing where in the SEC tournament game against LSU, I know it's a while back, we didn't get in the paint was patience. Yeah. There was a lot of in-paint turnovers. Now, there was a question here from Richard Null who says, is Vanover going to play tonight? Now, I think that's a question on everybody's mind. And yeah, Musselman said this in the press conference, Tera, was it's going to be a game adjustment. We're going to have to see what kind of Baylor does on film and if we're going to go smaller, if we're going to go bigger, because Baylor's not, they're a lengthy team, but they're not the biggest team in the tournament. They're not like a Florida State who has just so much length that we're going to need to put a 7'3" guy in. So who knows? Yeah,
Conor Vanover's game is just really different. I think it depends, obviously, on the matchup and who you're going to kind of put him on. I don't know. He has his nights where he's pretty good shooting. I mean, one of the big things of why he was an exciting player to bring into Arkansas was obviously his height, but he could shoot the 3. Now, this season, it's been a hit or miss, literally, with him from behind the arc. So I don't really know if we're going to see him because you can actually count on other guys to bring a little bit more to the table.
It seems like the trend has been when he's in the game, start 5 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you don't see him ever again because they moved Justin Smith over to the 5. And like you said, it's rare you see a stretch 5 that could cue it up from beyond the arc like Jokic in the NBA. So it's a nice thing to have, but they've been really good with this 4-guard system they've been using that makes him play fast, makes him play transitionally. We'll get to Scott Drew, the head coach of Baylor, and what he says in just a moment about how Arkansas plays with their lineup that might help with that Vanover situation. But any more questions, make sure you guys let us know on Facebook. I see a lot of woo pigs and people just saying, hey, play your hardest if we're going to win this game. John Oliver says we have to use our guard size advantage, rebound and run them off the 3. They struggled against Nova, yet scored 24 straight in the paint. Well, here's the thing, and Tera, you mentioned this against Villanova where you said Baylor wasn't shooting the 3 that great. Mm-hmm. But you talked about defense. They held Nova to 51 points, which Nova hasn't scored 51 points against a team in like 4 years or 3 years, whatever the stat is. It's such a good defensive team, and it happens off of turnovers. Yeah. Let's now listen to what Scott Drew, the head coach of Baylor, has to say about turning the ball over.
Arkansas does a tremendous job in forcing turnovers and getting easies on the other end because of that too. And I know both coaches will preach the same thing: don't turn it over. And when you do, get back. So whichever team gets more easy buckets, obviously, has a better chance of winning.
Tera, Scott just said, whoever gets more turnovers has the better chance of winning. And here's the stat for Baylor in this tournament. 54 turnovers in 3 games, 18 turnover an average a game on their opponents, and they are capitalizing. It's something Arkansas really likes to do well. Turn those live ball turnovers, make them into points.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas does a really good job of creating those turnovers, coming out of transition and getting to the basket on a run. They cannot, like you said, have live ball turnovers because Baylor will just take it the other way and absolutely throw down a dunk on you. and no one wants that.
No, not here. Here's something that Todd Huckabee is saying. We cannot get down by 12 points to Baylor. Something that happened against Colgate. Something that happened against Oral Roberts. Double-digit deficits in the first half. Mm-hmm. Clawing your way back, using every single second to win. But it's not going to happen against a Big 12 team like Baylor.
No, I feel like we've said that so many times this weekend as well. It's something that they cannot afford to do against a team like Baylor. I know that Arkansas has successfully done it several times now and multiple times this season, but you can't do that, especially in a tournament setting. Like, there's just so much on the line. These guys are playing their hearts out. You cannot get down double digits to Baylor.
And I always think that the devil's advocate is, oh, well, hey, Arkansas has had such an easy tournament run comparatively to other people. Right? You can't shake your head because you're like, hey, it's March anyway. But you hear this too all week. Arkansas, they've had to just run through Colgate. They had Texas Tech, which was their one-ranked team. Oral Roberts, who honestly proved to be one of the best teams in the tournament, even though there was a 15 by the side of their name. They say, man, this is just what you hear on social media is it's an easy run. But when you get up against a team like this, who's gone through Wisconsin, who played in the Big 12 and has just been playing ranked teams all year and just running through these other teams, kind of like the Zags have been doing on the other side of the bracket, makes you kind of worried. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that the easy tournament schedule affects Arkansas in any way?
I don't think so, because I don't think it's been an easy road. Like, I truly don't think a lot of people understand how hard it is to win a game in that tournament, just in general for anyone, no matter who you're playing up against, because the craziest stuff happens in those tournaments, and Arkansas has successfully overcome a lot of things to win those games. So I don't think that it was easy. I mean, those are probably the same people that said, the non-conference schedule was easy for Arkansas. So
right, look where that happened now. Look what's it's come to be, and all those teams making the tournament that they faced earlier in the year. And also, the SEC was not a pushover league. No. Sure that you had Kentucky on a down year, but Alabama stepping up. I know a lot of fans probably watching right now are pretty happy about what happened to Alabama yesterday.
Man. That game was wild.
It's been crazy. Every big game has been so great, but the SEC has been sneaky good with teams that maybe they're not super top heavy other than Alabama and Arkansas, but they've been really good. Remember, Arkansas ended the AP poll ranked 10th, Baylor ranked 3rd, and now Baylor is the second odds on favorite behind the Zags to win the tournament. It's going to be a really tough matchup. Anybody, make sure if you have questions to put them into the comments section. Timothy Ford says Devo Davis needs to show up early. Let's talk about this, Tara, as the freshman.
Yeah.
How great have they been? And I know we're going to key on one from you in a little bit, but how great has it been to see freshmen step up in the NCAA tournament, the biggest stage?
It's pretty wild, because I remember before the season started, and everyone was really hyped up about Moses Moody, KK Robinson, Jalen Williams, and Devo Davis, and we were kind of like, so you're gonna put freshmen in your lineup? They're gonna be in your starting 5. Okay, cool, great, that's gonna work out well. And here we are. It's worked out so well. It's really impressive to see guys like Devo Davis show up, especially in those clutch situations. I mean, he's not playing like a freshman, and I think Coach Drew from Baylor actually said it as well. He's like, at this point in the season, there are no freshmen. They've all matured throughout their season, and they're not playing like that either, especially in Arkansas's case.
Here's something cool from Devo is the elementary school he grew up going to. They're all dressing with red in Arkansas today to support him. He tweeted at them on social media. How about this? Another thing cool, Tara. Mark Rodriguez says he is on a plane right now to land at 8 to get to the game. Mark, I don't know if you need to be on airplane mode, but hey, thank you for tuning in from your seat, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. I know when I was down on Dixon Street after the Sweet 16 win, fans were telling me, if we get past Baylor, I am buying a ticket that night to go to Indianapolis to watch the Final Four game. What would that mean to this community, to these fans, to get to a Final Four? Especially
for Arkansas fans, they've just been dying for something like this to happen to one of the big 3 sports. Obviously, we had baseball, who was extremely successful the past couple seasons and playing in the College World Series as well. But this basketball team hasn't seen that in a very long time. And so I know everyone's rallying around this. I mean, you look at any of the footage that we've put up on social media the past couple days about fans that have traveled to Indy for these games, and it's wild. I mean, usually you see Kentucky fans that travel really well, but Arkansas fans are showing up this year.
Brenda Fletcher says, party like it's 1994 if they win. So that's what it felt like in the streets. They swarmed Dixon Street to the point where cops had to break it up because there was a pileup of cars while I was down there. That was all the way down the hill. These guys just didn't care. It was such a cool scene to see, and I think Bud Walton Arena is going to be just and it's the best place in the country to watch a basketball game tonight, or your house. I don't think it matters. I think it's going to have the same energy everywhere.
Yeah.
So Tara, let's go now to players of the game. Who do you think is the person on Arkansas that needs to make the biggest impact tonight for the Hogs to advance?
I'm saying Moses Moody. He needs to show up for this Arkansas team. I mean, he's had quiet double-digit points in every game, but it's a guy that, I mean, he's a one and done, essentially, and he just hasn't shown out like we've seen him do in other games earlier this season. I just want him to join the party, you know, like get in on it. I just want to see some excitement from Moody. And I'm sure, and honestly, in a game like this, they need him. You can't have Jalen Tate and Devo Davis kind of carry the weight, because you also had Justin Smith, who had a double-double for Arkansas quietly as well. And you need Moses Moody. They need him in this game, and I want to see him perform.
And that's kind of where I'm going with things. You piggyback off of that. My player of the game is Justin Smith, and you kind of mentioned Moses Moody. Double-digit points. What was it? 14 against Oral Roberts.
Yep.
15 against Texas Tech. 12 against Colgate. That's all well and good, but that's not the Moses Moody these fans know, and they want to see just erupt in this tournament, because when he's playing at his best, we know one of the best players in the country. So I'm going with Justin Smith, because I think it's more the same way. If you don't have Moody showing up in the way that's putting up 20 some odd points, here's the guy who will do it. He had a double-double against Oral Roberts, 20 points against Tech, 27 in the first game against Colgate. He's going to be playing 38 40 minutes maybe, depending. I mean, this is it. This is the last, it could be your last game. This guy's, when he's on the floor, makes the biggest impact for him, especially when we mention, hey, if they're going a little small, Conor Vanover might not be in there. Let's maybe move Justin to the 5 spot. So I think this is going to be, he's going to be a very big player in this game. There's someone saying Desi. Same with Desi. He needs to, some people saying, have a great game. Someone says, Craig says, tell Alyssa to get her makeup perfect. Alyssa in the background there. We're all working to get a show ready, guys. It does not stop, and you never know when you're going to be on camera. That was a keen eye from Craig.
She says she's trying.
Note, people. I don't know if you guys can hear over there with the mics, but everyone's chiming in with their own players of the game. I see someone saying JD Note needs to be hitting every 3 and we win. That's a big task.
Every 3 is
there's Seth.
We love that, though.
That would be awesome. There are games where he just lights it up. I mean, a 21-point game, I can't remember how long ago that was that he had in the SEC tournament. But you need everyone to fire on all cylinders. I mean, you could have any player of the game, but against Baylor, like you said, you can't slouch against a team like this, because they're the second best team in this tournament as it goes. Let's see, any other questions I can see? If you have any last minute things, we're going to start wrapping this up. Remember, 8:57 is game time. I know it's late, but hey, we can sleep when the season's done, right? And I know Mark maybe get some sleep on the plane there. In a couple, it's a short trip, but 8:57, you can catch that game on CBS. Of course, Tara and I are going to be at Bud Walton. We're going to be providing coverage all over the place for this game on Pig Trail Nation. In must we trust, Tim Mathis says, and that's, I guess, the preparation is going to need to be the biggest thing with this short schedule. But if there's one coach who's going to get them ready, it's Eric Musselman, right?
Agreed.
Guys,
man's a machine.
I know. It's funny because he posts stuff like an hour after the game. He's back up in his hotel room after Texas Tech getting a workout in.
Exactly.
It's like he never stops running his motor.
He had a bike put into his hotel room. He's got little weights. He's like I said, a machine. The man never stops.
Adam's asking Tara's player of the game. Adam, you just missed it. Tara's saying Moses Moody. Yeah, Moses Moody. She says needs to show up.
Yes,
very strong words. She's missing him.
I miss him. We've seen him, and he's such an exciting player to watch. And I just don't think we've seen that from him so far in this tournament. And if he's gonna show up, this is the game where they need him to do it most.
There it is. Mine's Justin Smith. Just want to plug that one in there. But, guys, everyone rebounding on the glass, controlling in transition, Connor Robinson says. I mean, Devo Davis, someone says, Brian will be the key to the game. There's, like we said, so many pieces. It's going to be a really exciting one to watch, and I hope you guys are all tuning in. And if you guys are at Bud Walton Arena, Tara and I will be there tonight, all night, watching this game with you all. I think it's going to be the coolest atmosphere in sports. Alyssa, someone's asking from behind the camera, who's your player of the game?
So I've gone with Justin Smith.
She's going Justin Smith from the very beginning.
The very beginning, and so, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I agree.
I don't know if you can hear her, but she said, Justin Smith, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's her. John Spears says 74-73 Arkansas. Ooh, that would be pretty crazy. I mean, scoring 73 points or 4 points on Baylor would be
impressive.
Pretty good on its own. Woo Pig, everyone's chatting and putting in the chat. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. That's going to about wrap it up for us here. Of course, like we said, 8:57 game time Central on CBS. Arkansas versus Baylor in the Elite Eight, looking to punch their ticket to the Final Four for the first time since 1995. Join us for our coverage right here on the Pig Trail Nation. We'll have you wrapped up. Everything from social media, Twitter, Instagram, all throughout today's game. Everybody, thanks for watching.